Hello and welcome. Let's learn how to draw for animation. Cool. So we have different levels of drawings here, and this will be a perfect opportunity to show a lot of stuff. So here we're having this beautiful drawing by Moe. Amazing deconstruction. Of course, everything feels more organic. So there you go. I'm seeing here. Let me increase the opacity here. Tuki tuki. Boom. I'm seeing the flower sack here. Look at that. Bam. We're having this thing here. Boom. I'm going to draw on top of the drawing to find what is all of the stuff that is happening here. Look at this squash here that is happening. And here, that squash can give me the pelvis. And I can see here the bottom of that pelvis. Look at that. And if I draw a point here to here, if I draw a circle here, here's where we can extrude this leg. Bam, look, I'm going up, and I'm following here a little bit the design of the character using only simple lines, CSI, going around, around, around. Look at that S. So we can be super soft, we can be super loose too, like the way that you are drawing right now, Moe. And at the same time, we can translate the information of the shapes into this character. Look at that. Look at this S that exists here. And let's look at the length of those lines. Look at here, for example. I can extrude that leg a little bit further away, and then that will create a better and beautiful silhouette here of this character. Look at this shape tapering at this point. Look, remember the volcano theory? We're always tapering towards one side, so the lava came out of here very dynamic instead of making this super even, so the lava feels boring. Here the same thing. I am tapering all of that towards one side, and here, boom, we're having this part of the shoe here. And I'm drawing with my lines being super super loose, and at the same time trying to translate all the information that I'm seeing here. Boom. And here, look at that S. Look at that S. Boom. Then we're going that way, far away from camera. We're drawing here this knee, and I'm looking at this negative space. Look at this negative space over here. I'm trying to create the same thing here with my drawing. So boom, boom. This leg will go around here. And if I draw the base of this leg from here, look at that. I can extrude this part of the leg into something like this. Wait. So something like this, looking further away from camera. Look at this fold overlapping here. I'm going around and around and around. Boom, look at that. And then from here to here, the leg, one lining all of this, the calf, boom, tapering towards this side. Look at that. So I am eyeballing all the negative space that I'm seeing here on the character in order to translate it here, and at the same time trying to connect all of this together with the character. And boom, here we have the shoe. Look at the rhythm, how it's going up and then it's going down here. Bam, amazing here. Boom and boom. Look at that. Fam, 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 fam. And I'm going around like this. Boom. Look at that. See? That's how I draw super, super loose these characters in a gestural way. For animation, like on live drawing, we have an entire process. We go for gestures, then we go to draw the perspective, then on top of that perspective, we design the anatomy with only shapes, and then we do the shading. But this is the live drawing approach. When we do animation, this gesture pass is called like the rough pass, and then here on the perspective, we do a volume pass. And sometimes as you get better in animating, you can combine these two into one. And then that shape pass that we do on live drawing is also something that we do in animation that we call tie down. And then we go to final animation, which is cleanup instead of shading for live drawing. And then here, look at how can I here connect this rhythm and go all the way and extrude this other rhythm for this arm here too. Bam, look at that. And all the way here towards the arm like you did there. And let's apply here. I'm going to choose another brush to show you something. Here, look at that S here that we're seeing. Boom, and we're overlapping this into something like this. We're seeing all of this fold here in the shoulder, drawing around, tapering here a little bit, boom, even more than the reference. And then for the hands, let me change here the brush to key, boom. And then for the hands, we have this shape here that the palm is, this is the palm, and then we can group all of these shapes. Look at that. To give that feeling of anatomy here, boom. And then the thumb, the silhouette of all of this should be a little bit up, boom. So boom, something like this, connecting here. And I can totally change my brush here just to have more flexibility in the way that we draw. Boom, look at that. And then the head, yeah, I really like it too. You're showing here this plane of the head, amazing. The ears. Then here we have this center line, and on top of that center line we can build a nose. So for example here, with only CSI lines. Boom. Cool. Other than that, everything looks really, really, really nice. Here, the bouncing ball of the hand. I love how you're stretching that. Boom, the fingers. All of this is grouping into one. Look at how the pinky is going away by its own. It's holding by the thumb. This character is holding this other character by the thumb. It's really cool. Boom, something like that. Cool. Now here, for example, let's study. Look at this box here. Look at this. Look at that turning edge that we are seeing here that is revealing this top plane and this side plane. That's something that we can totally add here. That's something that we can totally add here. Look at that. Boom, boom, and boom. And then here we're having that turning edge. We go around, around, and overlapping this like that. Boom. Look at that. Cool. And of course, I like to leave this gap. So if I'm designing this line like this, I can leave this gap like this, something like this. Boom, look at that. Now it feels like a form that is inside of that character. Boom. Here we're having the shoulder, bam. Here we're having another fold overlapping there, boom. So I'm constructing on top of the gesture drawing that you're doing, right? And I'm using the same tools that I'm sharing with you. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at all of that energy going around like this. Beautiful. You have here the flower sack. So for example, here in the flower sack here of the torso, I can show a little bit of this top plane. I can show a little bit of that top plane. So we're having here the squash here. Boom. Look at that. We're going around and around and around. Now these hips, yeah, are going that way. So I'm going all the way around like this and all the way around like here, and then the turning edge. Boom. And all of this will be the side plane. Pa, 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 pa. Here we will extrude the arm from there. And here if we draw a point and a point here and we go around, we can extrude the leg from here. Boom. Look at that. Look at this shape here tapering towards this side. And then we're going all the way towards the inside. And then the leg. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can go around. How is this thing here? There is an overlapping line here. But look at all of these volumes that I'm constructing here. Now look at this beautiful flow, just like this. Bam, like an S. Look at that S. Wow. And then here, boom, boom. And then here we have food into something like this. Cool. Boom, bam. Now we're having all of this skirt going around, which looks very beautiful the way that you design it. So yeah, that's the tip that I have for you in this one, is revealing all the planes that we are seeing for this character. Revealing all the planes that we are seeing for this character. And here, if this is the top plane, from here we can extrude the neck. Boom. And then the head, yeah, you're doing a beautiful job here. I will add more clarity, so if you like to do studies here in the corner, that will be very helpful. And yeah, we have something like this. For example, I'm going to do a study of the head on another layer, because I think we have a lot to learn from that one. So if I'm drawing here, I'm going to change my brush. Boop. I'm drawing here. Let me reduce the size of this brush. So look, the line of action of this head will be something like this. And yes, the head have line of action. So the line of action of the head goes all the way like that. And I'm drawing here my sphere for the head. Look at the shoulder, how I'm moving that thing, going around, center line. Then I'm drawing here the eye line. Bam. Look, he's smiling and he's putting this thing up. He's pulling that thing up. And I like to do a very gestural pass before committing into my structure, just to have more freedom to experiment with my lines, to experiment with how all of these shapes feel together. Boom, something like this. Bam, 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 bam. Then we have here the eyes. And then here we have the other eye. Boom. And I don't care right now about construction. I'm roughing out this. Then here we have the center line, and from here cheeks goes all the way like that, going around, squashing that cheeks like this. Boom. Look at that hair. I'm going around and around and around, and from here, boom, going up. Look at that. Bam. And then here we have all of this like this. So I'm doing like a rough pass of all the gesture that I feel on this character. Bam. On top of this, can totally lower the opacity. Let me get rid of this dude for a second. Tuk tuk, awesome. And then on top of this, I can create a new layer and start working on the construction of the character. So here we have the side plane, the cheeks, everything is going up. Boom, something like this. I'm feeling this, bam. Feeling this, bam. Look at this nose here. And then we're going all the way up, all the way up, and then we're going like this. Boom, cool. Then we're having the head. We are shaping this. We are like cutting this part of here of this volume there. There here, boom. Look at this eye mask that contains this character, something like this. Boom. And that eye mask here, boom. We are squashing because of the cheeks here. Bam. Here we're having the eyes. Actually, that eye will be a little bit up. Cheek. Bam. Look at that. And then this eye mask will give me this volume that is, so I can taper this volume here, creating that volcano here. Look at that. I can taper comparing to this eye mask. I can taper this line here, so I can draw my eyebrows on top of this eye mask. And this is another tapered form, another tapered shape here. And then if I color this, look at that volcano there. Bam. Look at that. Same thing here. Boom. I even did like a 3D edge there accidentally. Boom, something like this. Okay, then we're having something like this, and here we're seeing a little bit of this other eye around there. Boom. Then from here to here, the hair, we go around like this. Boom, and we start designing this shape. So how we design the shapes here of this air of this head, of this hair, for example, here all of this into one single shape. And then we break all of these shapes into smaller parts. For example, here, this will be something like this. This here will be something like this. But I'm always touching this limit here, that is this bigger shape that I created to contain these smaller shapes. Boom. There you go. And here, this other tree, for example, here is a shape like this. So I can also create or break those shapes into smaller shapes. Boom, to something like this. And I'm always touching that limit there. What about this other one here? Look at that. Look at this. Boom. Look at that. Higher, and we're doing something like this. Boom. And then I break down all of these into smaller shapes. I am breaking this into smaller shapes. Boom. And then this into this. Boom. And this is small one here. But I'm always touching this barrier of this big shape that I created. And then here, awesome, boom. Look at this volcano here. I'm not doing a parallel line like this, so it looks super even or super symmetrical. I'm trying to push here, so we have this little gap, this thinner gap, and this thicker gap here. So I'm creating that volcano with all of this energy going around this head. Here, where's the center line? The center line of this mouth is around here. So guess what? My apex of this mouth will be around there. And then we go all the way up over there. Boom. So that's how I experience drawing form in an organic way, by being aware of all of the surface lines that exist around this character, like this center line. And everything starts feeling more organic, more alive. And then this one, the neck, boom, boom. Look at this form here. That's beautiful. Bam. Boom. Free your shoulder, draw like crazy, enjoy the drawing, and you will see that you'll have beautiful results. Boom. Tapering. Look at how this side is also tapering towards one side. Bam. Look at that. Cool. So hope that helps. That's how I approach drawing these gestural constructions, combining both. And eventually, as we move forward, and if you start animating, when you start animating your gesture passes, sometimes will become more complex, or will have more information. Not complex, but will have more information, because your gesture pass will feel more alive by adding all of this kind of stuff. Cool. Awesome. Hope that helps. Let's go. Yeah, really, really beautiful. I look forward to seeing your next practices. Awesome. So, Angie, nice drawing, nice simplification. We need more information here in your drawing. For example, por ejemplo, here we go like this. Bam, look at that. We're always thinking about the flower sac inside of the torso of this character. And here I'm seeing something like this. Here we have the side plane of the flower sac. Of course, we're not adding these side planes, so only for your information, this is only like this. How this flower sac will look. Even this part will go a little bit more towards the front, while this one goes behind. Something like this. There you go. See? So I'm trying to translate that information of this idea of a flower sac into this character. So I'm going like this, I'm going like this, and look how the upper part is thinner than the lower part. So I am adding that thickness here in the lower part. And then the leg, look how I'm going very expressive here. Even the um, the bouncing ball volume that I am adding on the foot is not only a bouncing ball, but I'm trying to even taper that into a teardrop shape to connect with the rhythms of the legs. Then here we're going to something like this. We're going like this, and then we squash here. Bam. Look at that. Look at that squash. Awesome. Then here we have the shoulder all the way down here. Bam. And then here, look at the rhythm between the leg and the tail. Bam. Beautiful. Here we have the neck. Don't forget here the neck, which might be a little bit towards the front. I'm looking at these angles. So I'm looking at that angle, and then here, poop, the head. Here the head. You have in the side plane, eye line, and then we can add that other volume here. Boom. There you go. Cool. That's enough information for now. As we're doing gesture pass, we're trying to simplify all of this so we can work in this, we can have this type of look in our rough pass for animation eventually. Cool. So hope that helps. That's the before and after. Boom. It's all about information. Let's look at this other one that you have here. Boom. One of the things that we're trying to avoid on the gesture pass that when we're working is to avoid creating shapes. And eventually, as you get better at gesture pass, we can start adding shapes. But at the beginning, the best is to just simplify this into specific volumes on the torso, the hands, on the feet, on the head, but then on the other parts to keep it as simple as possible without creating shapes. And when we're creating shapes, we're creating shapes in a very intentional way. So here we have the body. Then look at how, boom, here I can create all of this rhythm going all the way from here, connecting the rhythm between these two arms like this. We have the bouncing ball volume here. We have the hand there, and from here we have this finger, and I'm flowing around. I'm flowing around. I'm not even lifting my brush from the canvas, from the screen. Look at that. If I press Command Z, I drew you all of that with one single line because I want to feel how all of these parts are connected between each other. Look at that. And then here, look at this bouncing ball here. Bam. Look at that bouncing ball, and from here to here, look at that angle that these leg have. And then from here to here, look, I went this way, and with the same energy that I'm drawing that line, I'm going this way again. I'm going this other way. Bam, bam. Look at again how I draw that. I go this way, bam, 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 and then I change the motion of my shoulder into the other way, bam. Then I go around and around and around, and I connect all of this together. And if I press Command Z, look at how I built all of that with one single line. And if I go here with the head is looking down. So if I am drawing a center line here, I can draw another center line here. And now that will give me an illusion that is looking this way, only by drawing those two lines properly and intentionally. So these lines that you have here right now is telling me like the character is looking that way. But in reality, this character is looking down. So that's why I'm adding those shapes there. I'm adding those center lines there just to help me with a few lines communicate what the pose is telling me. So boom, we can draw here the head, boom, something like this, boom, then nose, bam, cool. So adding a little bit of details if I want to, but just as a gesture drawing, we can do some of these lines and that will be enough. Look, and if we draw like this, look at how fast I can draw like this. If we draw like this, the moment that we go into the animation process, we can come up with a complete animation in just a matter of minutes. And that's the idea. When we are trying to experiment, to come up with timing, to come up with the acting of the characters, it's very important to be as efficient, as fast as possible, so we can then later continue with confidence in the animation process, knowing that everything else will come up, will connect perfectly, because we have a strong rough pass. We have a strong rough pass that will work for us. Cool. So there you go. Hope that helps. And let's go with the next one. Boom. So MH. Let's look at this. These are, so here in the community we are working with levels. We're working with levels. We're progressing. We're progressive. We're progressing in a matter of days. Like the first 5 days, we are simplifying the drawing in a matter of just lines like this. Look at this. Boom, just with simple lines like this, we are drawing, boom, and I'm pushing that line of action just to represent what the characters are doing. Boom, something like this, connecting these two, looking at the angles, looking at how all of these parts of the character come up together. Boom, look at that. And then from here to here, something like this. This is an S. So I am trying to represent what we are seeing here on the on the reference with just a few lines as possible. And it is very important to observe how everything works in the reference to get as close as possible with our drawings. Boom. And here, on top of this line of action, we're going to have this other leg. Cool. So yeah, let's be more uh I don't know, more confident, I will say, with the lines. Look at that. So here, if you already know this is the line, draw just one. Boom, go confident. Boom, go confident there. Okay. If you know this is the line, boom, go confident with the line, because we're putting a statements, which are just a few lines that we need to represent the overall pose of the character. So here, I don't like to make the line of action floating like a tail, but instead I like to have a strong line of action and build my character on top of that line of action. So for example, I'm seeing two big rhythms here, the character pushing this way and the character pushing that way. So, oh no, something like this. Yeah, so I'm seeing that. And on top of that line of action, I'm building here my character. Bam, look at that. Boom, here the feet, drawing here a plumb line, here the other one. This will be something like this. And then even I feel like the chest is pushing a bit more here. Look at that. So I will do another iteration, something like this. Boom. I will do another iteration, something like this. Bam. So draw on top of your reference if needed to be more accurate, and do more iterations. If you feel like you are not sure with one specific representation that you did with your drawings, feel free to do another iteration. Put this one like number one. No, it didn't work. Number two, this one I like more. So there you go. This one will work better for me. So I'll go and draw like that. Boom. Cool. So we have something like that, and that represents the character, not only the emotions, not only the essence of the pose, but also the proportions. We can still practice, because the proportions of this character may look different from that one over there. Cool. So here, this one over here, we have this character going that way and going that way too, going that way too, going back here and then going this way. But how can we simplify that line of action? I will simplify into something like that. So look at that. We are translating that beautifulness that this pose represents into just that line of action. It will be something like this. Boom. In here, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And it's a it's a training. The main thing that we were doing on these first 5 days, that we were simplifying the characters just with this type of lines, is a training for us to later, when we have more complex drawings, like the one that I drew before for Mowi, is that this will help a lot in our skills of simplifications. As designers, as artists, that is a huge role. That is a huge role. Look at that. You already have a good statement there. So maybe it could be like the tablet or the pen. It's like boom, 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 just trying to clean, have clear thoughts here, so the line will represent those clear thoughts. Cool. Something like that. So that's the before and after, and hope that helps. Let's go and see another one. Boom. So Angie, Let's see. Brushes. Tuki tuki. Puku. Toku. So here, look at that. Look at this flower sac that is. This flower sac is stretching like crazy here. Bam. But still, I'm considering that flower sac here. Bam. Look at that dude stretching like crazy there. It's like, eee, 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 eee. So I'm trying to represent this same thing here to this character over here. So, and I'm seeing the rhythms, I'm seeing this one going up this way and then boom, going up, going down this way over here. Look at how much we can stretch this body. Cool. Then boom. We're tapering towards this stuff. Remember always the volcano theory is like the more that we taper the shapes, the more aggressive, the more dynamic this lava will come out of it. If we design this volcano like this, these numb volcanoes, the lava will be boring getting out of it. So the more that we push these shapes, the more dynamic the character will feel. So here we have the shoulder and one rhythm all the way from here to here, and then going all the way down. Look at this, boom, these rhythms going this way and this way. And here, the hand, the palm of the hand. And from the palm of the hand, look at how this rhythm continues all the way here to all the way here towards this index, all the way here towards this middle finger and the pinky here, and then boom here towards the thumb. And when we have clear how is that all of those rhythms connect and behave around this shape, I can totally start adding these shapes for the finger here. Bam! Look at that, and it's tapering also towards the bottom. So from here to here, boom, tapering towards that side. From here to here, connect one line all of this, boom, tapering towards this side. Bam! Then the thumb, boom, and boom. Cool. There you go. That's how we simplify. That's how we represent all of these drawings. Now I need more space for this lower part of the character, but before going there, I'm going to connect the head here. Let's not forget the neck. Then we add the head on top of this. The head is even stretching, so I'm going to stretch this bouncing ball that represents the head. You have the center line, you have this other line here, bam, 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 eye line. It's like, oh shit. It's like, oh shit. Look at all of these beautiful shapes. And as you can see, I'm not drawing the cheeks of the character, I'm drawing the shapes of the character. And the shapes is something like this. Sometimes it's like, oh, you know, that Bugs Bunny drawing is super complex. I don't have the skills to draw that. I'm not drawing the character, I'm drawing the shapes that contains the character. And as a consequence, as understanding how to apply each of the animation principles on each one of these shapes, the character comes as the outcome of all of the things that I'm drawing here. So boom, I'm drawing this shape. And guess what? Anyone can draw this shape. Anyone can draw this shape. Anyone can draw this shape. So when we approach all of these tasks as little missions, as side quests from the biggest first mission that is drawing the character, everything becomes more easy to approach because everyone can actually do that. Everyone can do that. Cool. So here, for example, here we have the line of action of this. We have this line of action of this. Boom. And from here to here, we can start building the shapes. Bam, look at that, beautiful. And it's also tapering towards the bottom. Look at that. So we have a volcano here. We have another volcano here. Look at that. Everything is flowing. Even the head is a volcano. Look at that. Even the head is a badass tapered volcano. So that's the idea. That's the mission that we have to approach here, making this a bit smaller. And then from here to here, boom, the leg going this way. Let me make the brush a little bit bigger. I'm using the same flow of the body to come up here for the rhythm of this leg. And I'm going all the way back, boom, towards the front, the fingers, and look at that tapered shape there. Look at that tapered shape there. This is another volcano. Here, here too. Look at this. Look how instead of doing this even, like putting these fingers here, here, and here, they put this finger lower and this finger a little bit higher, but still the rhythm is giving me something like this. Look at that. And guess what that looks like? A volcano. So I'm trying to translate that same information here. How? By flowing with these lines in that way. Look at this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm opening here a little bit up. And guess what? Boom. As a result, I have that volcano there. Cool. And then I'm going here connecting. This is an S, a beautiful S, and then boom, I'm trying to carry the same energy of that part there. Boom. Look at this volcano over here. Bam. Then other volcano here. Bam. So it's very important to remember this theory because that will help us to design beautiful dynamic drawings. Cool. So hope that helps. Let's go. Image. So cool. We have another simplifications here. I really like these first drawings of the challenge because it's all about simplifying stuff. And it looks easy, but it's not. It's not. It looks like, oh yeah, you're just drawing lines, but it's not. It's one of the biggest challenge to stop seeing a lot of stuff around and start drawing only the lines that represents the character. Boom, and here we have this. Boom, bam, and then here we have the the arms. Here we have the hands. Cool. Look at that simplification over there. Boom. And is finding here, for example, this communicates this way and this communicates this way. So this is equal an S if we simplify all of the rhythms that we're seeing inside. Here, I will do oopsie. Here I will do something like this. Just checking that everything is recording. I'll do something like this. And here I'll put the character on top. Beautiful. Bam. Look. Even though I'm drawing many lines, I would say. Even though I'm drawing many lines, how I'll say, I'm trying to, when I'm drawing, if I want to draw more than one line here, I'm trying to represent the same thing that the first line that I drew is telling me. So look at this rhythm between these two arms. This one is one. So it doesn't look messy, but instead I'm just clarifying my statement by adding the same quality of line on top of each one. So for example, here and here, connect those two. Cool. So hope this helps. Look at that. So it's an S. There you go. Here we have like an S. Boom. Here, this one over here. Look at that. This is going that way and this is going that way. This is equal as an S. So I will translate that information here. Bam. And then I can put the character on top. We have the head. We have the cheeks. We have the cheeks. We have the body. We have the leg. And it's a challenge. It's really cool when you start practicing line and just start drawing lines on top of the same line, so it actually gets closer and closer to the first line that you drew. It's always a challenge, but it's beautiful when you enter this flow state and it just happens without thinking too much. So it's totally worth it to practice drawing lines and developing that control of the line over time because it's a beautiful feeling. That's one of the moments as an artist that we feel like we enter this flow state. So see, I totally can draw on top of the reference and then translate that into the drawing over here. Bam. Here we have this. Here we have the leg. Here we have the other leg. Here we have the arms. And then the other one is up here, and then we can connect these two. Boom. Cool. It's about simplification, translating what the image is saying into just a few lines as possible. So hope that helps. Tuki. Okay, let's look at this one over here. Tuki. Let me change to a gesture brush that is more soft. So I can feel, I can live it, I can experience this. So cool. So one of the things is that when we simplify things into just circles, or just basic shapes, is good, but we are missing some information. We're missing some information. So the character is going backwards. So as the character is going backwards, let's first identify the line of action. Even though we're progressing and we're talking about the line of action a lot on the first 5 days, it's very important to keep drawing it in order to don't forget all the essence of the pose and look at all the twists, all the things that are happening here. So here, the flower sac is pushing backwards. So this overlapping line will be of huge help for me to represent that this character is going backwards here. Then here we're having the pelvis, we're having here the chest, and from here, boom, one line for the, let me make this smaller, one line here for the leg. I'm looking here, look at my elbow, look at how I flow with this line of the leg, and I am going this way, then this way, and I'm building here the foot. Bam. I'm building here the foot. Bam. Then here I draw a plumb line with the same line. I'm connecting all of the drawing together. I'm drawing here the base of the leg, and then going all the way like this, following that line of action, and then on top of this, boom, the head. I'm drawing here the center line, drawing here the cheeks, side plane, and from here to here, boom, look at that beautiful flow between the arms. Bam, bam. Here we have the hand, and then from here to here we have the index, we have here the thumb. We can group these two into one single shape like this. Bam. Let me make this smaller. Boom. Then here we have the palm. We group these two fingers into one. We take here the thumb and the pinky. See? And I'm always tapering those shapes. Boom. And here we can totally add this part of the mouth. As it is a gesture drawing, I'm trying to simplify as much as possible, and the proportions are a little bit off. There is where we can go here, paka 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 tuki, and make this bigger. There you go. So this is how I go. And then once I have this cloud of rhythms going on, I can totally put darker lines here to represent the statements of the drawing. Like, oh, you know what? This darker line is darker because there's a lot of weight going on this leg. So I'm going like this. I'm fixing the proportions here, the shoulders. I'm looking here the distance between these two arms. You know what? These arms have to be almost there, so I can do all of those changes as I can. Yeah, and yeah, I highly recommend don't copy and paste, don't cutting and all of that just for the sake of the feedback I'm doing this here. But it's also a way of, you know what, not putting this it's like just detaching from the idea of perfectionism and just being like, oh wow, you know what, I'm seeing this arm goes a little bit up, push that thing up. Push that thing up. It's like, oh, the drawing is screwed up. No, the drawing is not screwed up, it's just a drawing. So we can always just go back and start moving stuff around until we have something that we want. Cool. So that will be my tip for this one. Go loose, draw big, and start seeing where's the floor sack, how to connect the rhythms of the arm, the angles of those things. And yeah, feel free to make one drawing, second iteration, third iteration as you move forward. Here on, so let me give you some notes here. So the character, the line of action of the character is going this way, back. It's like this, back. And the torso, I'm seeing is pointing this way, and also the hips are pointing that way. So it's important to also do a deconstruction of the character. That's something that I share on the videos, how to deconstruct these characters. Here we have the center line, here we have the center line, and from this center here, we extrude the head. From here, we can extrude the head. From here, we can extrude the arms. From here, we can extrude this other arm, which is a stretching just for the sake of clarity on the design. And from here, this leg will go this way, and I'm seeing this plane of this leg. And then here we're seeing this plane. I'm not sure if that leg is pointing away or towards camera, but now that I'm seeing that this character is revealing this shape, this might telling me that this is going the opposite way. So I'll go and just go that way. So now all the shape is pointing that way. Cool. So let's look at your gesture drawing here. Again, I will highly recommend starting with the line of action. Tuki, where's this? Starting with the line of action. So we have something like this. Boom, something like this. And then on top of the line of action, what else? The flower sack, which is the angle that this character is looking towards, this way. So I'm going to draw around like this. Boom. Then we have here the side plane. Here we have the center line, and from here to here we can create this shape of the leg. Bam, look at that. Bam, and from here to here, one single rhythm here, tapering towards this side and creating this foot over here with this plane over here. Cool. And then we have this top plane, this side plane, and here we have the arm. Look at that. Boom. I can be more rounded here. Boom, something like this. And then here pointing that way. Here we can have an S. Here we can have this overlapping line there. So this is going this way, that is going that way, and then here we can connect this part of the arm that way. Cool. So very, very organic construction. And then on top of this, the head. On top of this, the head. And here we have the center line. It's doing something like this actually. Tuki 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 tuki. And then from here on top of this center line, we extrude this mouth of the character and we can connect all the way down here. Cool. And then as we move forward on the challenge, we can totally add more information into these drawings. We can totally add here, we have this thing here, something like this, bam, something like this, bam. And then here, something like this, bam. Cool. So hope this help. Cool. So another thing that I wanted to share with you, actually, I'm thinking this will be something like this. Actually, yep, something like this will be nice. Cool. So another thing that I wanted to share with you, on according to to a comment, I know that I already give you some feedback. After going through the, I already shared some thoughts with you, but I want to also share some new thoughts. After going through the perspective videos, I finally decided to get started with Winnie the Pooh, and during the process, I suddenly felt very anxious and stressed because I wasn't sure I was doing this right. So I just stopped there because the feeling was were getting overwhelming. So I give you these. I'm not liking this. I give you this feedback that a mentor of mine told me about making the mistakes yours, making mistakes yours, so you can actually embrace future mistakes and getting and making those mistakes familiar. I mentioned to this mentor like I cannot make this mistake. I cannot allow myself to make these mistakes. I'd say to my mentor, and he was like, you know what? If you see these mistakes, if you make this mistake yours, every time that you will see it again, you will remember that you make that mistake, and you'll be like, you know what? I already know this mistake. This mistake is mine. So every time that I'm seeing this, every time that I'm seeing the mistakes that I made before, I laugh at them because I get to know them and I make them mine. And when I make them mine, I'm not seeing myself as like, you know what, I'm the dude that always makes this mistake. But instead, I am the dude that live through this mistake, experience this mistake, and learn from this mistake. So every time that I'm seeing it, I'm seeing like an old friend. I'm seeing like an old parent, an old familiar from me. And I'm like, dude, I know you. I know you. Hello, I remember you. I remember how I screwed up with you before. And now that I'm seeing you, I will not screw up again. Or maybe yes, and I still make the same mistakes all over again. But the way that I approach that mistake is in a totally different way, and every time that I approach that mistake is in a new way. Because every time, every day that goes by, we become new person. We are always in constant changing. We are always changing, and as we are always changing, every mistake that appears will appear as a new mistake. And if we get stuck in the way that we think from the past, in the way that we felt intimidated by some mistakes in the past, every time that we approach a new mistake, because every experience that we experience, even though it looks familiar, is new, and because we already know that every time that we exist in this world, every day, we are a new person, it's like, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to approach this, to face this problem with new eyes, with my new self. So that's very, 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 very important for me to have that freedom to just, you know what, I'm open to all of those mistakes. So for example, here, I'm not happy with the head. So what I'll do, I grab all of this, I put it around here, and then I will do another iteration here for the head. So here I'm going to do a study here, boom. And here I'm going to do the side plane, here the center line, here we can do the eye line, and then here will be the ears, bam. Here will be the other ear, bam. And from here, from this center line, boom, I can start designing this mouth. And I'm being like, okay, how can I make this better? This could be like an S, this is straight, this is tapering towards this side and then going inside again. Here we're having the nose, here we're having the mouth. This nose will be something like this, bam. You know what, I want to color this, having fun here, then here I'm going around, 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 up. And then look at that beautiful S there, look at that beautiful S, and I need to make that S a little bit higher so it actually makes happy, feels happy. Then I'm going all the way around like this, bam. And then here into something like this, then here do something like this. Beautiful. And if I want to draw the eye here, I will do something like this. Then I'm remembering here the eye mask. So I'm creating these volumes here. Now, you know what? This is too far away. So I'm going to do something like this. Bam. And I'm playing. I'm playing around until I find what I want to achieve on this pose. And then here the eyebrows, and then here like tooth. Like my drawings are my best friends. Like my drawings are my best friends. I'm trying to approach all of this as if I were playing with someone else. If I were playing, if the drawings are my friends. If the drawings are my friends and my friends screw up with me, I'm like, I'm not going to be like, dude, I will never want to talk with you again. But because my friends are my best friends and I really love them, if they screw up and I know that we make mistakes as human beings, every time that I'm seeing some mistake that they make, I'll be happy to go and be with them, and I'll be happy to just believe in them and think that everything will suddenly improve. And that's how I approach drawing also for animation. That's how I approach my drawings. That's how I approach my pencil sometimes. It's like if I want to get mad at my drawings, if I want to get mad at my hand for not coming up with the drawings that I want, I'm like, before starting to this rest or to this drawing, I'm like, what if this drawing is my best friend that I love? What if this drawing is my girlfriend? What if this drawing is my brother? So when I'm seeing the drawing and I'm seeing the drawing is not coming up in the way that I am, that I want, I'm like, you know what? How can I have a better conversation with my drawing? How can I have a better relationship with my drawing if I know that I love it? If I know that I'm doing what I love, which is animation. If I'm doing what I love, that is animation. If I know that I'm together with the people that I love, which are my friends and all these people that I love, will I not give them another chance? Will I not give them another opportunity to improve, to get better? But if I believe in them, I give them the space, I give them the room to improve. So, okay, the first one, yeah, this looks, yeah. But the second one, because I was approaching this with new eyes, I was approaching this with compassion, with respect to not only the drawing, but to myself, I'm like, you know what? Boom, beautiful drawing. So, that's how we get to know ourselves. Not only the goal of all of this is not only to get better at drawing, to get better at animation, but also to get to know ourselves better. Everything that we do is an opportunity to get better, to get to is everything that we do is an opportunity to get to know ourselves in a better way. And this drawing animation puts puts you in a corner and it's like, I cannot handle all of this. But when you open your eyes, when you just breathe and you let yourself enjoy the process, you are going crazy in that fight. Okay, so enjoy, and hope that you find this helpful. And this is a progress. This is a process. Everyone has its own process, its own progress at its own time. And that's a beautiful thing about being in a community, because you can see other people how they develop in different time, how they have this open eye moment at different points. So let's keep enjoying doing this great work. Cool. So hope this helps. And yeah, another thing, the box here will be something like this: tuki tuki, tuki tuki, tuki tuki, and tuki tuki. I'll do something like this. So we are seeing a little bit of the top plane. So we are seeing actually the top plane here, and the top plane here, and the top plane. We're seeing the top plane here, the top plane here. We're seeing the top plane here of this arm. So when we are seeing a lot of this top part of the planes of the geometry of these characters, we're aware that this box, we are seeing this part of the box, which you did very well there. Just yeah, you did it very well there. Just it's well, yeah, just more straight here compared to this one, because this one is going that way and this one is going this way. And it's just about making those little tweaks and make this mistake yours. Make these little things yours. I'll be like, got it, thank you. I'm going to make that mistake mine, and I'm not going to make it again. And if I made it again, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to just learn from that mistake again. So hope this helps. Let's go this one over here, image. So yeah, this is really nice too. This is really nice. I'm seeing this character. Now we're seeing in 3 dimensionalities, in 3 dimensions. Look at this. Let me change the brush here. Let me change the brush here. We're having something like this and we're having something like this. So tuki, tuki. But we are drawing the leg on top of this. and this other one on top of this. Look at this. Boom. And the proportions of this head, something like this. Pookie. And then here, look at that. It's doing something like something like this here. So I'll go and do something like this. Boom. There you go. Yeah. And here we're having something like Tuki Tuki. Tuki Tuki. So Tuki, Punking. There you go. Something like this, and then here we're having here plumb line, boom. Cool. Here again, let's not draw the tail like that, but instead let's put the character on top of that line of action. Cool. So here I'm having something like this. Tuki, Tuki, Tuki. Look at this angle here. Bang, bam. And if you want to draw this prop in a very rough way, cool. Otherwise, it's cool. Look at this. Beautiful here. Bam. Bam. Okay, boom. 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 There you go. The legs will be around there. But that's how I will simplify that one. Cool. Let's go next one here. Okay, amazing. I love these characters. I love these characters. A lot to learn from these 9 element characters. So here, for example, look at this character going down, going backwards like that. Bam. So we're having something like this. We're having the pelvis. We're having the foot here. Boom. Then we're having the other foot here. Bam. Awesome. Then here we're having the head. And then from the head center line, we're having this thing like this. Look at that. And then here, boom, up. Fingers. Fingers. And I'm super loose, going around. Look at that. Bam. And then here, Upa, tuking, down. Look at that bouncy ball there. Bam. And then here we have this hat here. Boom. This is going this way. Takating, boom, tanga. There you go. See? Super fast. Flower sacks, bouncing volumes deforming as the shapes are doing here, and bouncing balls, adding these shapes. So every time that I'm drawing hands for animation, the palm, and then grouping the fingers into like this sausage. I'm not drawing the complete sausage or this squash bouncing ball, but I'm drawing only this part here. And this thumb here, another sausage. Oopsie. So it's another sausage, something like that. Something like this. Look at that. Cool. So hope that helps. Let's go and see here. This one, Emily. Cool. So one of the things that I noticed here, Emily, is that the box is the other way around. We're seeing here the lower part of Homer. We're seeing the lower part. So if we're seeing the lower part, I'll say like the bouncing ball here, the bouncing ball. The box will be something like this. Look at that, makes more sense, huh? Boom, 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 boom. Cool. And if I translate that, all of the things will change in a different way. But you're really close. You're really close here. Yeah, I will check the proportions a little bit. So let's do a draw over here. So here we have the interesting thing about the Simpsons characters are like they are very cylindrical. We are not using a lot of the 3D edges. But by using the knowledge of the 3D edges, we can create very solid cylindrical forms. Look at that. So here we can go around and create that organic form, not by just clack and clack, but by going around the shape. So this is a parallel of this one. See? So I am going around. I'm going around. So if we have a box like this, this is a parallel of this one. But the moment that we have a shape like this, and we're working with this type of cylindrical shapes, if I were to draw here my turning edge, I will go around and creating the symmetrical line that will go here in comparison with the box for a cylinder will be this curve here, will be this curve here. Imagine this is like this decoration from the houses, these bowls. So it's the same way here. So something like this here and something like that. Cool. And then from here, the arm. And these shapes of Homer are very symmetrical, so the volcano theory might not apply here. Maybe when we are pushing these characters, yes, but look at how I'm drawing around. Look at this line here with a lower opacity compared to this one. I'm having control of my lines. So I'm like, okay, hand, I want the darker line to be on front. So I'm boom pushing my thickness towards this part. And that's when we're drawing this type of cylinders. I'm going around and around and around, but I'm just adding pressure here, and that will level up your drawing skills absolutely. So here, for example, too, if I know this pelvis of Homer will be a circle, I'm going around, but only putting the opacity or the pressure here, and that will feel more organic. And here, if I draw this shape, where's the center line? The center line is like this, and then like this, and then like this. Here we're having this other leg like here, and then we go back, cylinder, tuki, tuki, boom, boom. Look at that, see? And then here, amazing what you did here. You're grouping those shapes. That's beautiful. And then you're cutting that. That's the idea. That's really a really good application of the concept. Same thing here. Same thing there. Bam. And then I will break this shape into something like this and then go inside here. Boom. Cool. So it's all about building that line confidence, drawing around, creating those volumes here. For example, here you are just missing that little part here on the top. That will give you more of an Homer volume there on the top part of the head. Cool. I think that's my feedback for you here. Also, we're missing a little bit more of volume here. Yeah, we get you can totally the decrease the line uh, size to add more information here, to add more information there. Bam. So we're going around. Bam. Okay, this will go a little bit higher. So we are need to add the neck there. So we're going like this. Boom. The other day I was watching some memes from The Simpsons, and this meme of Homer going out of the house and seeing the distance through the window of this apartment that he was living. I don't know what Barney was doing there. He's like, "Oh, Barney, look at that! It's like everyone is still awake. Look at the lights or something like that." And Barney calls Marge. He's like, "Marge, turn off the damn lights." Homer can't sleep or something like that. It was so funny. So there you go. Hope that it helps. And yeah, here for example on the fingers, this is the bouncing ball. Here we're adding this. Everything on Homer is very symmetrical. So some of the rules that I'm sharing, we are applying in a different way. And here something like that. Here we can even improve what we're seeing there on this on that model sheet, adding more volume there, more feeling of organicness. Let me move this a little bit down. Something like that. Bam. Cool. And then here we have the thumb. Beautiful here. Awesome. So hope that helps, Emily. And I love to see your progress. You're in shape design, and I can see here how you're cleaning. This is beautiful, but as I mentioned, your clean will look even better with a proper construction, looking at those nuances. And yeah, hope this helped. Look at this, how much we can round this by using oopsie, how much we can round that by drawing with the shoulder, drawing around like that and like that. Oops, come on. We're losing that opportunity to add that three-dimensionality feeling, and we're making things flat when we are not drawing around and around and around and around. And then of course we can just get rid of this, and then we'll have a very round shape there. Cool. And this will add this 3D edge that not many people see. Cool. So hope that helps. Image. Cool. Amazing. So yeah, really love how you push the line of action here. Boom. Here look like the bouncing ball for the feet here will be bigger, so we can totally make that bigger there. Something like that. And here we're having something like this. Pookie. Tuki. And then the head. Boom. That's let's draw with more clarity there. Cool. Yeah, beautiful. Tuki, beautiful. The head, arms. Then here we have 2 feet. Beautiful. Push that. Bam. Look at that. Bam. Something like this. And then boom, the head here. And then here we have the arms, the bouncing ball volume for the hands. Here we have the one leg, and then here this other leg. Awesome. And then here, look at that. Bam. So here we're having the head. Here we're having the foot, the other foot here. Then here we're having this. Bam. Oopsie. No, something like there. Then Tuki, the hat. Something like that. Cool. So hope that helps. Pushing that line of action. Cool. Let's look at this one over here. So here, even though the character is very flat, I'm still thinking about the flower sack here. Even more. Even more. This is a very flat character, so yeah. And then here we can draw all of these shapes on top, following that flower sack volumes that we're seeing there. But that's something that we're going to add as you move forward in the challenge. But for now, just I'm sharing these insights of how is that I'm seeing these volumes, because we need to add more information into these drawings. So that's the information that I'm seeing, but in a rough pass, here I will do something like this. First of all, line of action. Look at that line of action. And here, boom, drawing here the body. Then here, look at that, how much we are pushing that shape. Tuki. Tuki. Then Puk. Yeah, this is a very flat character. I highly recommend looking for the 9 old men drawings. Those dudes are crazy badass. So will be the best to learn from them. So highly recommend looking for the 9 old men drawings, and we can learn a lot more. So hope this draw over also helps. Let's look at that. This is the final one. Okay, this is not the final one, but these are some thoughts that Mansi left in the community. So I'll share my thoughts really fast. Guys, I don't know what's happening, but I'm actually getting really sick of everything. This capitalism is making me hard to breathe, and the studios, etc., are just caring about their profit, and they aren't caring about anything. It's said to be a phase, but I'm getting tired of all of it. Creator culture, that's me. ChatGPT, etc., is killing me day by day. Like everything is being so uniform and predictable. The institutions are selling us problem solving as dream because this world is stuck in ideas. So yeah, Mansi, really thoughts about my personal thoughts about that is like caring profit and caring about anything. It says things can look in 2 different ways. Can look super dark or super bright. And for me, I don't have control on many things around that I cannot control. But the things that I can control in this life, which the more that the time goes by, I'm still thinking like this life as a game. And it's like, what is the purpose of a video game? What is the purpose of a game? And the purpose of a game is to play, is to enjoy, is to have fun. And the thing is, like, this game of life is so complex that there are many things happening around me. But the moment that I am like, you know what? Let's go back to the main reason why this life is a game. It's because it's to have fun. So how is that I can have fun in this life? Okay, when you play video games with your friends, that's when I have the most fun. So you know what? I enjoy life when I'm playing video games with my friends, when I'm playing with my friends, when I'm next to my friends, when I'm surrounded by the group of people that I love. That's when I enjoy life the most. So what else? How can I enjoy life too? I enjoy life when I'm with my friends, when I'm with my family. I enjoy life when I'm helping people. I enjoy family when I'm doing my art, when I'm expressing myself through art. So when I feed myself, when I feed this game, doing the things that I love, doing the things that makes me have fun in this life, is when all of this negativity, all of this craziness that is actually happening in the world and in our industry starts feeling a little bit more soft for me, and I'm starting to have more space of mind to think in the things that actually matter for me, which is how much can I get to know myself through the art that I'm doing, how much people I can influence and I can inspire by the art that I'm doing, in order to wake up and start doing something that could be potentially useful for their life, in order to avoid being depressed or just staying at bed. And this is something that I've been talking with my friends a lot. It's like, you know how ugly how ugly it is to stay in bed and just not wanting to wake up, or not having the energy even to wake up and prepare your food or something. It's like, at least by having a reason to do something, at least by having a reason to wake up, that's a lot that we were doing. That's a lot that we're doing. And it's amazing when indirectly, by just doing the things that we do because we have fun, we help and inspire other people to also wake up from their bed and start enjoying life, start enjoying this fun game of life. So I can totally go through all of this. To be honest, I feel very close to how you feel too. Even though I'm creating content, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I hate creating this type of content. I hate doing this stuff in social media. I don't like this. But now when I have these thoughts, I know, okay, but I know this is important, because through social media I will get to many people, and I will be able to influence these people in a positive way by doing this and this and this. And this will also help me to promote my stuff, promote my short films and the stuff that I love to create. So, okay, this thing is not totally dark. These have two sides. So how can I take advantage of this side? How can I make the stuff that I hate? How can I inject the reason why I'm playing this game? How can I inject the reason, which is fun, into this stuff that I feel like is super dark? So how can I have fun creating content? Boom! I found it. Doing animations that I love, doing memes, combining memes that I cry while I watch in Instagram or TikTok, and I send to my friends, and they're ha 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 ha. When I combine those things with the content that I do and I have fun, it's like I inject fun into everything that I try to do, and everything feels more optimistic. Everything feels more positive. So there are two sides, and we all know the two sides. We all know how it feels to be surrounded by this darkness, by these dark clouds, and how it feels to actually feel alive, to actually feel like fun, to actually feel like, you know what, I want to live this life, because what else I will do? So that's how I approach this. That's how I try to inject fun into everything that I do, and to also think about, okay, how can I help other people? How can I have fun? How can I just enjoy this game that I'm playing? So hope this helped, and I just wanted to bring another perspective, and not, I don't like to give answer, but just to open new ways of thinking, and also invite yourself to for critical thinking. Invite other people to think by themselves and to make new questions. So this is the only thing that I have to say from this. Hope everyone enjoyed the feedback. And there you go. Keep posting more amazing stuff in the community, because I'm having a great time seeing your progress every day. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you are seeing this video through YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like to get this type of feedback, check the links below. Bye.